Sarah here. Okay, sorry I didn't upload a video last week. I got really busy. I did warn that this might happen because I've got something that I need to do with very little time to do it in, so just bear with me please. And also, I saw a bunch of videos talking about this whole made for kids thing, which has got me concerned because I don't have $42,000 to spare. I know I've got 3 subscribers, so I'm likely not to be targeted, but still, I don't have 42,000 to spare. But I just take this opportunity, my videos are not made for kids, okay? As are most of my YouTubers, so please don't take them from me, they're part of my emotional support. Okay, now on with the video. Now, I am doing a video called the Fanfiction Tag. Now, I will freely admit I've already done this before on a... I've got the wrong book. Whoops! Well, that was far more stressful than it should have been. I really need to tidy up because I could not find it. This one really small book. Anyway, full disclaimer, I have done this tag before on Instagram. But because of the nature of Instagram videos, they can only go for 10 minutes. So it got rather rushed towards the end, and I just don't want to rush. But you can go and watch that if you want to get my original thoughts. I will try and link it down in the description. I'm not sure how to do that, but we will give it a go. Okay, so the fanfiction tag is by Jen Campbell. I believe she's a YouTuber. Okay, question 1. Do you read or write fanfiction, and why? I've written a couple, but generally I just read it. And why is sort of both? The reason being, most often for reading fanfictions is 1, I can't get enough of the characters. I have finished whatever show, book, movie it was, and I'm like, I need more. I need more of these wonderful characters. So I go and read. Or 2, I'm not happy with how it turned out. This was not the ending I ordered. Let's do a do-over. Let's fix this. Fanfiction authors, you can do this. The clearest example being Game of Thrones Season 8. Excuse me? I did not spend literal months researching that series for that ending. No. George R.R. Martin, fix this. Finish your prequel series and just get on to the original Game of Thrones so I can know what the actual ending was meant to be. But if Brienne dies, I'm never reading your books. You have been warned. And 3 is a couple that I wanted to get together, did not get together, or a couple that I like the idea of but know would never get together in canon, didn't get together. Obviously. 2. How and when did you discover fanfiction? How old were you? Okay, I was 13 and I was at boarding school in Kenya, East Africa. And I just finished the Spiderwick series for like the billionth time. If you haven't read Spiderwick, go and read it. It's not just, okay, it is a children's book, but it's still fun to read, okay? And the illustrations are gorgeous. And for a long part of me, I was convinced it was real. Anyway, as you can see, I was obsessed with Spiderwick. And I wanted more. This was before I knew about Beyond the Spiderwick Chronicles, but even still, there's only an extra 3 books. So I was just like, I need more of these characters, give me more! So I went Googling Spiderwick stories, and it led me to fanfiction.net, where I found a couple of amazing fanfictions, including my very first one that I ever truly adored. I've got it saved in a book because of how much I loved it. And it is Our Fairy Chronicles by Marvel Maiden Squalls. Zany has grown up seeing what others can't. She eventually meets someone she can share it with, as well as a Spiderwick, and the 3 of them explore the magical world around them. because that was an amazing one, but sadly, most of the other Spiderwick ones involved incest, and this, no. Or twincest, which seems to be a very popular thing, which is... Oh. 3. How has the fandom in fanfiction evolved since you found it? Okay, so it's become way more accepted and acknowledged. So, like, fandom culture is a huge thing nowadays. Everyone's part of a fandom. Like, even if it's just a little bit, you're a part of a fandom. And fanfiction is now more of a known thing. And, well, we still get judgmental looks. I've met couple of people now IRL who actually read fanfiction, and it is wonderful to just talk about our struggles together with real life people, because, well, the Tumblr community definitely gets me. Talking about it face to face with someone is awesome. Sadly, though, fanfiction itself is not as widely accepted, because the fanfiction that keeps getting published is things like 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Crap! Okay, I haven't read it, but I watched a video where someone did a very in-depth talk about it, and I was just like, this is the worst fanfiction I have ever heard of. This is the type of one I don't read, because there are a million ones better, and this is the one you choose to publish. Are you kidding me? Just... 4. Do you still engage with it the way you used to? If anything, I engage with it more. I can't go a day without reading a fanfiction. I go through cycles of which series I'm going to do, or if I'm going to just reread some of my faves, because I have quite a few faves. I just adore fanfiction. It is so good. And it gets me through. But sadly, as a result, my reading life struggles because I'm reading fanfiction majority of the time. 5. Who are your OTPs? Okay, this I'm going to read because these are not necessarily my top, but they are the ones on AO3 that I have the most fanfiction for. Now, I say they're not my most top because, generally speaking, with some of them, I just enjoy reading fanfiction for them. I don't actually see it happening in the show. Or it's not a fandom that I'm extremely involved in, but fanfiction authors seem to love these pairs, and the stories they come up with are amazing. So, okay, number 1, Derek Hale and Styles Stalinsky. This is one that I don't see happening in the show because we have the fabulous, that is Lydia. I love Lydia. So, yeah. I enjoy reading fanfiction for them. There are some annoying tropes, and now that I'm older, I'm actually getting annoyed with some ones that I previously bookmarked. So, that's fun. 2, Magnus Bane and Alec Lightwood. Okay, yes, this is an OTP. I love them as a couple. They're just so good. And as you know, they're my main driving force behind reading the Clockwork Angel book, but that's going slow as molasses because I've got work and I've got fanfiction, so I'm not going very well with that. Okay. Sherlock Holmes and John Watson. Again, this is something I actually shipped and was super hopeful for happening in the show, and then he faked his death, and then John married Mary, who just annoyed me. And it was just a whole kerfuffle. I think at the end they basically say they're together, but still, that was not what I ordered. It's fanfiction. And then we have Jaime Lannister, Brienne of Tarth, my queen. I was so obsessed, and I still am. I have a thing up there. Keep calm, Jaime and Brienne will end up together. Turns out not true for season 8. Spoilers. But that was part of the reason why George R. R. Martin, I'm looking at you to fix that. My babies belong together. And Cersei goes to Dinah well. Okay, Steve Rogers and Tony Stark. Again, this is one I don't see ever happening in the movies, but I've read some very good fan fictions for it. Barry Allen and Leonard Snart. Again, I don't see that happening in The Flash. But again, I've read some very good fan fictions for it. And I honestly ship him with Leonard Snart more than Iris. But, well, we all know what happened to Len. Okay, James T. Kirk and Spock from Star Trek. And I will say this is Star Trek the movies. I have yet to watch the original series. It's on my Netflix to do this. I will watch it, but I just haven't got around to it yet. Castiel and Dean Winchester. This is one of the ones where I've read a ton of fan fiction for, so much so I know a lot about the show despite only watching the first season and half of the second and then a bunch of random episodes in between. I know a lot about the show. Like, I have a friend who actually watches the show and I know more about it than she does because of fan fiction. Because the authors, probably out of sheer frustration in that show, because I will admit they should be together already. It's ridiculous. Out of sheer frustration with the show, have done amazing fan fictions for that pairing. So, and finally, Steve McGarrett and Danny Dano Williams from Hawaii 5-0. I ship this. And please let it become canon this season. Please let it become canon this season. Don't put Danny with Rachel! I will smack you or hunt you down, writers. I will hunt you down if Danny ends up with Rachel. No! Okay, sorry, but I'm very emotional about that one because my boy, Danny, he deserves better than Rachel. He deserves Steve. 6. Have you ever told anyone you write fan fiction? Just about everyone knows if they ask. I've obviously told you guys now. My parents know. My friends who also write fanfiction know. My other friends know. I'm not telling you the one that I've written because that needs to be taken down and re-edited because I've made some mistakes on it. But, yeah, I do. Generally, I don't post it, though. And my parents want me to write an actual story and not fanfiction, so. 7. What does fanfiction mean to you? Escape, closure, and continuation. It's an escape from the daily struggles of everyday life. It's closure to series that never really gave us closure. My babysitter's a vampire. Sorry. And it's continuation of stories I love so much. Like, I've read a bunch of Harry Potter ones because I want to continue and not with the freaking cursed child that can go die in a hole. No. Okay, this... Wait, I've got it here. Yes, I own it, I know. This is fan fiction. But not a good one. I have read countless fan fictions with the exact same characters that are so much better. And it doesn't involve making the previous characters OOC or completely changing canon forever. And if you don't think that happens, then you completely misunderstood the play. I refer you to Super Carlin and Seamus Gorman videos. I will one day do a video on my thoughts on this entirely, and yes, I am never seeing the play. I know it's the graphics, I know the sets and the effects are probably amazing, but I can't stand the actual story. And if I can't stand the actual story, I'm not going to enjoy it. It's like how some of the props and stuff in the Harry Potter films are amazing, but after the second film, I can't stand them because they miss important things. I mean, third film, but they missed the final of the Quidditch Hogwarts Cup, and Gryffindor actually won that one, so Oliver Wood got to live his dreams, and they completely ignored it. And we first meet Cho Chang because she's a Ravenclaw seeker, and it's hilarious. But no, we had to make that movie so dark and depressing, so of course we couldn't have had any hilarity in it, including Harry's best sassy line. I know everyone goes on about, there's no need to call me Sir Professor, but I'm sorry, this one is just better. So basically Draco's like, it's a shame Firebolt doesn't come with a parachute for you when the Dementors come along. And then Harry says to him, it's a shame yours doesn't come with an extra arm, Malfoy. It could catch the snitch for you. So yes, very... No. So, yes, I read fanfiction for the continuation of characters I know and love. Do you prefer canon-based fanfiction or AU? Generally speaking, canon, because often when I go looking for a fanfiction, I'm wanting to fix canon, or I love the world they're already in. But an alternate universe can work just as nicely. I've read a lot of alternate universe ones that are just like, ah. One of my favorite Jamie and Brienne's one is when they're at college, and it's wonderful. Okay. And tell us about a fanfiction you have read or written. Okay, so obviously I've already told you I'm not telling you about the one I've written. So I'm going to tell you about the ones that I love. Now, this entire book is not just fanfiction. This is my special book. One thing you gotta know about me, I'm an avid journaler. And when I say journal, it's not like I'm writing in it every day. I do not have the discipline for that. But it means that I use a lot of journals for a lot of different things. I will do a video someday explaining all of my journals. It will probably go for 30 minutes. Anyway, so, fanfiction I consider amazing. Well, we have so many. Like, for instance, what I've done with Harry Potter section of this book. This page, just all of this is fanfiction that I love. The synopsis. Obviously, it's not the whole thing. But I'll try and just give you a few examples from Harry Potter. So we have Harry Potter Without Harry Potter by Slytherin. I think the name's changed again. Or actually, no, the name might still be the same. Suppose Tom Riddle never bothers to show mercy and Harry Potter dies with his parents. What would that mean for the world? To have no boy who lived to save them? A Couple of Stubborn Kids just doesn't have the same ring to it. It is so good, that one. It's so amazing, and it's on AO3 now as well, for those of you who don't like fanfiction.net. And I've done an audio book for that, I will admit. I've done a podfic. I got permission from the author, it's all G, but I did do one. Then we have Albus Potter and the Black Badger Society by Bartimus Crotchy. This is one of those ones I was talking about where it uses the exact same characters, too much better at storytelling. In his first year, he made a friend out of a potential enemy, carried the hopes of a downtrodden house, defeated a dark wizard with help, and made the house Quidditch team as chaser. Things are about to get difficult. This is the next adventure of the Tenacious Trio. So that's the second one in the series. And yeah, it's just a whole bunch of ones that are really good. I've got several for Neville because he's my favourite. And yeah. So that's Harry Potter. Now in Lord of the Rings, if you know fanfiction, you should have heard of this fic. It's amazing and wonderful and perfect, and I really hope she finishes. Sansuk by Detta Manfred. Please, if you see this video, I don't know how, please finish. Your story is amazing and wonderful, and don't let the haters fool you. It is the best. Okay, I've got the thing here. Wait, it's on a different page. The battle was over, and Thorin Oakenshield awoke, naked and shivering in the halls of his ancestors. The novelty of being dead fades quickly, and watching over his companions soon fills him with grief and guilt. Oddly, a faint flicker of hope arises in the form of his youngest kinsman, a dwarf of Durin's line, with bright red hair. Bag and Shield, Gimli/Legolas, in which recovery takes time, dead members of the company take to watching Gimli as though he's a soap opera. The living struggle with being left behind. Legolas is confused, Khosdul is abused, and Thorin is 4 feet and 10 inches of guilt and anger. Follows the story of the War of the Ring, and as it says, you've got Bag and Shield and Gimli/Legolas, so if you don't like that, don't read it. Don't leave hate. She's already stopped posting on fanfiction because people kept leaving hate. There's a golden rule of fanfiction. If you don't like it, you don't read it. Okay? It's that simple. And then I have one other Lord of the Rings one to share with you. It's called Comes Around Again by Scarlet Jedi. It's got some lovely fan art for it there. And the summary is, Gimli closes his eyes. An old dwarf on the brink of death in the home he had built with his husband in the Undying Lands opens them again as a young dwarf in his childhood home in Ered Luin. He's returned to the tumultuous week before the company set out to recruit their burglar from his cozy hobbit hole. Gimli, once again an impetuous teen in the eyes of his family, must get into that company. The lives of his loved ones and the very fate of Middle-earth depends on it. So, you can probably tell Gimli is my favourite character ever in Lord of the Rings, so yes, I have lots of fanfiction for him, and often it's with him being shipped with Legolas, which I'm not against. Because their friendship was one of my favourite things since I was a child. Add a romantic spin to it, I'm not mad. In fact, you've made me ship it. So. And then I've got a Narnia one here that is just... perfect. Okay, so it's a Harry Potter AU, so it's what if the Pevensies went to Hogwarts, kind of. So this way comes by Atomic Muffin. So a magnificent Gryffindor, a gentle Ravenclaw, a just Slytherin, and a valiant Hufflepuff walk into a magical castle. Stop me if you already know that one. Reincarnated Pevensies at Hogwarts AU, Marauders era. Post The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe AU. So Prince Caspian never happened. And it's one of my absolute favourites. Since they're reincarnated, they're all the same age. Peter is a muggle-born single mother. Susan is a black cousin to Sirius, same age as him, and sister to Bellatrix and Andromeda. And Narcissa. Edmund is Snape's fraternal twin, and Lucy is a Pruitt, sister to Molly Weasley and cousin to Frank Longbottom. And so obviously it's Marauder era, and it's wonderful and lovely, and just read it if you love Narnia. You will not regret it, I promise. It's not like some of those other ones where they try and put the siblings together in a relationship. Okay, can we stop this? If I have a trope that I hate with a passion in fanfiction, it's when they ship siblings. Or even worse, twins. Okay, then we have Merlin. I have here A Modern Manservant by Mama Lazar. A modern magical comedy very loosely based on Ugly Betty. Publishing king Uther Pendragon has had enough of his playboy son seducing every female assistant he has ever had, and hires Merlin, a man he is sure Arthur will never sleep with. Merlin would be more insulted by this fact if he wasn't so busy trying to juggle his duties, save Arthur's skin from ruthless fashionistas, keep his magic a secret at the same time, expect appearances by oiled lathered knights, the occasional mad druid, a perverted will, and a mental caretaker who lives in the basement and keeps harping on about coins and destiny. So if you know Merlin, the BBC Merlin, you know what I'm talking about. Merthyr, it should have happened. The ending, it's one of those ones where I want to repair it. But that was an AU, and one of the ones I love. I've got a couple for the Gorn series by Michael Grant. It's The Judging by Escapes Reigns, one shot set after fear to the families of the Phase kids know what they've been through. And Aftermath by Tibbins. I don't have a blurb for that one. Okay, we skip through all of that because obviously I haven't put any of my Teen Wolf or Malik fanfictions in this because that's going to be just a whole other project. Okay, I have a couple of Digimon ones that are utterly incredible. If you like Digimon. The Ultimate Gathering of the Digidestined by Shara Razel. On the 1st of August, across 3 dimensions, 3 teams of Digidestined are taken out of their worlds where they'll have to work together if they wish to return home. And she's done a companion... I don't know. They've done a companion fic Parent Worries, which is about the family trying to get the kids back. And it's wonderful and marvelous. Because one of my favorite things in is just getting reactions of parents to how much kids have changed, because I don't feel that's ever addressed enough in stories. Okay, Digimon Tamers, Rika's Story by Rikui44, one of the first fanfictions I ever read. The Tamers story told through Rika's eyes, except drastic plot changes and OOC-ness. That is true, but it's still really, really good, and I love it. And we have my favorite Digimon fanfiction of all time, and one of my absolute favorites, definitely in the top 5. Digimon Trinity by Crazy8. The war is over, or so it is thought. For the Digidestined, life goes on, but with Digimon emerging once more into the real world, the world will change again. Divided they fall, but a new generation of heroes, the Tamers, will rise to unite against the new threat. And this person is amazing. They went for a while without doing any updates, but at the moment, they're updating like once a week, and we're already over 100 chapters. And they just put so much detail and effort. Like, each episode takes like 4 or 5 chapters, and they're addressing things. And if you couldn't tell, this is combined with adventure. So you've got Davis and Tai and all of the others. And it also combines with Frontier, which he's recently developed a lot more on. We've been seeing Koji and everyone in it. And it's even combined with Savers, because they've made Rika's father Marcus Damon's father, so that is just, it's all kinds of awesome. And I love it so much. Read it if you love Digimon. Just read it. And if you couldn't tell, Tamers is my favorite series, so the fact they're focusing on it is brilliant. And Takato, my favorite character, he's getting so much development. I love it. Okay. And then What Comes Next by Star Shown Kahika, that's in brackets. When you save the world naked on national television, the world wants a piece of you in return, and once you let the world in, it won't go away. The real stories behind Tag Tamers and Santamono Sagas. Very meta, very quickly. Extremely brilliant reaction. The only thing that made me sad is that we had no return of the Digimon in it, but it was very, very good. Okay, should probably stop soon. We're getting up to 30 minutes. Juniper Lee, Little Sister Shotgun by Lord Yellowtail. Dennis was never very close to his sister, but as he learned the truth, until he learned the truth, it never really bothered him. After a particularly nasty night, he realizes that he wants to change and admits something about himself he had done his best to ignore. It's wonderful because it just shows so much development on Dennis's character. If you watched Juniper Lee, you know he needed it. Do I have any others? Oh, how could I forget? So one of my favorite things that fanfiction does is often it does crossovers and it combines characters you wouldn't think to put together in a story, and it turns out brilliant. So one of those is The Secret Trio. So that's Danny Fenton from Danny Phantom, Jake Long from American Dragon, and Randy Cunningham from Randy Cunningham, the 9th Grade Ninja, in a group as the Secret Trio, because they all have alter egos. And I've got 4 different ones here. I'll just read one. Secret Trio, origin by Zeus Rex Medine. One bad day. One chance meeting. That's all it takes to bring these of the most unlikely heroes together in the face of adversity. This is the story of the first adventures of Randy Cunningham, Danny Phantom, and Jake Long as a trio. It's fantastic and brilliant, and I love it because Randy needs better friends. He really does. I'm still very, very sad about friends that he has. I have a whole rant in here about that. That's a different video. And I think there's just one other. Okay, I've got 2 others. So there's a Naruto one that's very good. Diplomatic Relations by Mador_Chant. Rock Lee, Diplomatic Envoy to Sun Kuru. There are so many ways in which this could go wrong, but Lee is determined to succeed and to befriend the feared Kazekage too while he's at it. Good thing Lee loves a challenge. I love Lee. And the final one is just an epic crossover that I have to do. It's one of the biggest known ones in the fandom community. That is the Big Four. The Big Four, for those of you that don't know, is, if you can see the pictures there, Jack Frost from Rise of the Guardians, Rapunzel from Tangled, Merida from Brave, and Hiccup Horrendous Haddock III from How to Train Your Dragon. Put them together in various scenarios, but my favourite, and one of the first ones I ever read, this is the first fanfiction I ever bookmarked on fanfiction.net, and that is Hogwarts. That is The Big Four and the School for Witchcraft and Wizardry by the It all begins with 4 letters. From these letters, 4 students of Hogwarts will meet and form a bond that is more significant than any of them could imagine. It is through this bond that they will unite, facing a growing darkness that threatens the entire world. It is through this bond that they will become the Big Four. It's wonderful and marvelous, and it's just, I love it, and I could go on forever about the fanfictions that I love, but I've already mentioned to you some of the key ones that I've got saved in that book. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And yeah, this video will be my longest one yet. It's gone for over 30 minutes. You can see why I wanted to do this tag again. Fanfiction means so much to me. Give it a chance if you're in the fandom community and you haven't already. You will not regret it. But I am going to do a bit of a warning here at the end. When you go into fanfiction, go in with a grain of salt. Not everything is going to be your cup of tea. If you're not enjoying a fic, immediately X out of it and go look for something a bit more your style. That's what I do. For instance, I completely involve anything to do with incest and BDSM because that's not my cup of tea. I can't handle those sorts of fics, or anything to do with student-teacher relationships, and just a whole bunch of other things I know that don't get me, like my non-OTPs, so yeah, anything with Harry and Draco as a couple, I don't read. Sorry if they're your favourite. I can't do it. I like Harry with Ginny. Anyway, I really have waffled on for a long bit, but yes, I hope you do find some fanfictions from this that you enjoy, and I will see you next time, and which will hopefully be either tomorrow or Friday, because this is video making up for last week, and considering it's over 30 minutes, I think I've done it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below, or like the video, or maybe subscribe. If you do leave a comment, maybe leave a comment with your favourite fanfiction, or just something like that. I would love to know what your favourite fanfiction is. There's a website called TV Tropes, I think, if I'm remembering it correctly, that is very good if you're looking for recommendations for a particular fandom, because it will explain exactly what goes on in each fic. Well, not exactly, but it'll give you a synopsis, what the main ship is in it, if there's a ship at all. So it's very good at finding one. I found amazing fics through it. I think I actually found Digimon Trinity through it. So, yeah. And the best websites in my book are fanfiction.net and Archive of Our Own. That's AO3. And yeah, there are other ones like LiveJournal or Wattpad, but I have never worked out how LiveJournal works, and Wattpad, I've only ever found 2 fics, both by the same author, that were any good. The rest need a lot of improvement. So, the fact that a fic from that got published, and yet we have these amazing ones, and the other 2 websites that have not been published, is rather annoying for me. But again, I will end this video here, because I could literally talk for hours on this. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye!